Hi guys, I'm David with Transparency Fitness, and we have Kevin Balcirak with us today, owner of Body Structure. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. I'm excited to sit here and talk to you for the next, hour or two.
Oh, good, man. Appreciate you having me. I don't know how bored people get with an hour of me, but no, I'm glad to be here and share anything that might be insightful for somebody. But
yeah,
I've been on this journey in life just and, this morning coming here to talk to you, I was thinking, geez, man, I'm sitting in my hot tub. I do my little ritual. I get up,
okay,
get my coffee, get in the hot tub.
Every morning?
Every morning. Well, we'll call it 4 to 5. Yes, hot tub, not working out. 4 to 5 workouts a week. But
okay.
Get in the hot tub, work out, have my coffee, of course, work out, get in the sauna, the infrared sauna, get a shower, sometimes steam, and eat and get on the road. But in the hot tub, I always reflect and kind of gear my day up, drinking my coffee before I put my crazy music.
So it's a way to prepare for the rest of your day and mentally be ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because once I start working out, I put on like heavy rock. Your mind goes into rage mode. That's what I like to do.
Like, let's just get through this workout. Let's kill it.
Smash it, especially early in the morning. I've done it since high school, really. Well, no, I'll say college, getting up crack of the morning,
And what's crack in the morning for you? 5?
Yeah, 5-ish.
Okay.
5-ish.
I'm
yeah.
a 6 a.m. guy,
Yeah.
But I'm a middle of the afternoon workout guy.
Yeah.
I function best if I work out in the middle of the afternoon versus the evening or the morning for some reason.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But it does feel nice when you do it in the morning because then you're done for the day. Like you can focus on everything else. You don't have to worry about finding that time to get your workout in because it's been done.
Yeah,
the work's been put in.
So many things get in the way, out throughout the day, and you're thinking, okay, I'll do it at noon.
Yeah,
I'll do it at 4. Now it's 6.
Like,
yeah, I'm hungry now. I want to go home and eat.
At 10 o'clock at night, you're like, well, I got to get it in. So
yeah. But anyways, I was sitting there thinking, oh wow, what are we going to talk about? Or and the first thing in the hot tub was like, man, people that have been instrumental in my life and things that have shaped me. And I mean, obviously, as my mom, my dad, my wife, Carla, and the people I've surrounded myself around. And, with my dad, it was like about choices, making good choices in life, but he allowed freedom for me to make my own choices. Whereas my mother, and my parents divorced when I was young, and my mother instilled this like no judgment, treat people how you want to be treated, just kind of that type of nature. She's a real free-spirited woman.
Okay.
And then, of course, my wife, just very supportive. It seemed like it was always about my goals and not hers. If I look back, we're just traveling and moving around what I wanted to do or where I was going. So she was so supportive in that respect.
You need a partner like that, especially with the kind of lifestyle that you live, right? Yeah. Running a business. I mean, and you've got multiple things on your plate constantly,
right?
So, you need a partner that really. Does she work as well?
She did early on, and then as we started having a bunch of kids, she backed off from it, rightfully so. I don't know how we could have juggled all that without her. How single parents do it, I have no idea.
Oh.
It doesn't even
compute, right?
Yeah, it makes it. How do they work and take care of the kids?
So how did you handle? Like you said, your dad gave you a lot of freedom to kind of make your own mistakes or make the right decisions.
Yeah.
How did you handle, or how did your dad or you kind of handle those times when you did make mistakes, when you were doing things that because you had that freedom, you were able to do things that maybe someone that's a little stricter kid may be a little less likely to do something, or were you a pretty good kid and you just didn't misbehave too much?
Oh no, it's terrible, to be honest with you. We won't get into all my deep dark secrets here today. Hopefully I'm not going to answer them anyway, but no, that's what was crazy about it is my mom really made you think about how you treat other people and that type of direction, and where my dad always said, hey, you got mindset on anything, you can do it. You just got to make choices along the way. And so when I made wrong choices, to be honest with you, man, my dad just kind of let it roll.
Okay.
And it's really
so
the reason
you're either going to learn or not.
Dude, I grew up in Houston. We moved out to Katy, Texas. And, it was like he worked and I did my thing. And that's starting off in 7th grade.
Okay.
So I had a speedy life. Before high school, I think I did what most people in junior high, I did what most people experience in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was on a free wheel to make my own choices, and a lot of them weren't good.
So you started working out really young, like 8th, 9th grade, right?
7th grade.
7th grade is when you actually started like strength training, and you're a football player, right?
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, they breed it down.
Right.
there.
Yeah, I was about to say in Texas they take football on a whole nother level.
Oh yeah. That's no saving grace for me probably, or I make a lot more bad choices.
So how is all that? Because I feel like a lot of people, they get into training 20s, 30s. For me, I didn't get into it seriously till like 32, 33 when I was really like, I feel like really making gains and doing things right. But starting at that age and sticking through your whole life doing it. I mean, how's that all translated into how you've lived your life and how you've worked out and like how that's influenced your life, having that knowledge? Because you probably had knowledge about strength training probably at a much younger age than I did. You know what I mean? Or a lot of people. Yeah,
and it kind of carved my path early on, even though I didn't know my path. You know how people are, at a young age, you're going to... No, I didn't. Be honest, my senior year, I didn't even know what direction I was going. I didn't even make a choice to go to college till late.
Okay.
But... I might have missed your question earlier, so I'm sorry. I was hearing you.
You're good.
Oh man, it's just like going back down memory lane here. We're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we want. I want to know more about Kevin at a younger age and how that sculpted the Kevin that we're talking to today. Because I know you've had a lot of different things throughout your life, trauma, things that have. That really could have kept you from succeeding so many times, and you've always been able to persevere and overcome. So I know you played college football. How was that? I mean, how was that experience? How did that help? You have a bachelor's in science and a master's in
gerontological studies.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think getting there, through high school, the discipline of just being on a team and working out, and the Katy Tigers in Texas, their whole program, and driving you to be the best, and there's always goals, and that's what kind of kept me driving there. And then when it got to the end of the time to make that college decision direction, it was like, again, some adversity came along that I really not prefer to discuss, and then I was like, well, I need to do something here. I got to go, and that's always moving forward. All my life I've been moving forward, so I go to University of Arkansas.
And you use that training program that you learned in high school for what, years afterwards, right?
Oh yeah. And even implemented it in one of my second jobs
as a coach, if I remember correctly.
As a coach. Yeah.
What, the year after you left, they went to state?
No, 3 year. That freshman team that trained that way for the 4 years.
When you implemented the program that you had learned in high school.
Yeah. Those freshmen and their senior year went to district or state.
I guess, did they keep that program after you left? Did they keep with that program that you had kind of implemented when you were there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the conditioning part. It wasn't really about the plays. I did throw in some pretty cool Katy Tiger plays there, but no, that program, it just really drove you and to really establish goals, which carried on into college and then keep pushing forward.
So I know you got into a pretty big car wreck that was probably one of the biggest turning points in your life.
Yeah.
And what might have kind of led to you opening up Body Structure.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. We go into that one because it was huge. I mean, it was instrumental in kind of carving out this direction that I knew I'd try to get to. I just didn't immediately say, I'm going to open a place, because one, you got to have money to make money. And so it was definitely, after undergraduate school, we, my wife, we were set to get married, I went to Monroe, Louisiana, for graduate school, and that's where a double-loaded log truck ran a light there and just T-boned me.
We actually got some pictures we can cut to so that people can actually see. So that's impact point. So those are, okay.
Oh, and by the way, that's Hibernia Bank. I'm throwing in a little sale for Hibernia Bank, National, great bank. But through my car over there by that sign, you can't see it behind that white car. You can kind of see it back there. You see?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And then the truck was not able to stop till down there.
Oh, wow.
So that
So it
lets
got
you know,
like
yeah.
60 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Of just,
and we were through the air. I mean, it was like whew, cars in the air. Of course, my mind blocked it out. So yeah, the expression, have you ever been, feel like you've been hit like by a Mack truck?
You literally were hit by a Mack truck.
Yeah. It's, that's my little claim to fame, and
Yeah, I think we have
good man didn't think it was my time.
I think we have a picture of the car too.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what, Firebird?
No, TA. Oh, tell me you got my TA. That was my love car. Look at them center line rims, 60s on the front, 50s on the back.
How did you live?
I'm not sure. I really know it lived based on the principle of having lean muscle mass preservation. At that time, I was, just finishing up college football, 185 pounds, 5% body fat, top shape of my life. And my body in that bed rest in, 3 months, 13 surgeries, 16 units of blood, had time to eat off that muscle
16
mass.
units of blood?
Yeah, more than I think your body
Yeah, I was
has.
about
I'm
to
not
say,
sure.
like, that seems like an ungodly amount of blood.
Yeah, my whole family
so they were just
had
pumping
to give it. Oh, yeah, it was right out. Yeah, because it ripped my bladder open. My lung was punctured.
So mainly they were just trying to keep blood in your body, and it would just, some of it would squirt out, and some of it your body would use
Yeah.
until you started to heal.
Well, and that's where they put those dying trousers on. They put these things and they blows you up with air on your feet because it pushes all that blood up to your heart.
Okay.
I suppose. And so, yeah, they had to use that to get me to the hospital there. And also my wife was in there, Carla. She was in the passenger seat. She dinged up her ankle a little bit, but
she came out pretty unscathed.
Kind of, sure, a lot of jarring of the spine and stuff, but
no major life-threatening where you
walked away.
I mean, how long were you in the hospital for? I mean,
3 months.
Okay.
3 months, yeah. Surgery, carried a catheter bag around for over a year. Yeah, wheelchair getting out of there. Told I was never to walk without a cane, probably. And
don't tell someone that loves the gym as much as we do that we're never going to walk again.
Yeah. Or not normal, anyways. Or they did say I probably won't ever lift again.
Okay.
And I was like, oh wow, yeah, sure. We'll see. But my finger works, I'm going to lift.
You went in at like what? When the wreck happened, I think you told me it was like 185 pounds is what you weighed. And then what were you like 3 months later?
Oh, 118 is what I went down to.
You lost.
Yeah. And big old hip sticking out this bone. I don't know. It looked elephant man-ish. I can't even explain it. I was like, well, I'm going to be deformed for life. But I guess it was because this was all so skinny, that bone sticking out.
Right. It looked bad. It looked worse than.
Yeah. And then what it maybe.
So what was the recovery process like in getting back to the gym? Like, I kind of want people to kind of have a feel for what you really went through. And since that wreck and what you went through to just get back to where you wanted to be at, where you were at, right?
Yeah,
I mean, look at you now.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
You look amazing.
I appreciate that. I try to do the right components, but just the recovery in itself. So that was back in the day when physical therapy did not really do exercise. It was all passive modalities. The most exercise I did with that therapist at the time was getting that underwater treadmill.
Okay.
And, try to just get my legs moving in the way they're supposed to and things like that. And so they discharged me with maximal medical improvement and I couldn't tie my shoe. Well, after they discharged me with maximal medical improvement, I'm like, man, I've got to go to the gym. I got to get there. I got to get walking again.
Did it feel weird not being in the gym? Like, do you feel like it had been so distilled in your lifestyle that like not doing it was just like so foreign and weird, you just didn't know almost how to handle it?
Yeah, I mean, it was like I needed even more though. I mean, I'm like, gosh, dang.
Especially seeing your body lose all that muscle mass.
Yeah. So that's kind of where it was. And I went back into graduate school. Our wedding was scheduled, and we had to reschedule because I was in the hospital when our original wedding was supposed to go down. And just hit the gym and started recovering. You can, major things can happen in your life. I think that's one of the keys when adversity hits, not if it's going to hit, it's when it hits. What choices do you make? How do you perceive that?
Right.
And I've always tried to cut things off and move forward, or you're going to just bring too much baggage into life. I mean, we all got our stories. I mean, we could if we wanted, we could pile them up into Mount Everest, you know, or make them that, you
Right.
know. So, you know, just cutting that off and being positive about it and establishing some new goals. And
So what was the gym like getting back into it right at the beginning? I mean, what were you able to do?
oh, it was terrible, you know, not much. I mean, I was just kind of working my way around through the simple things,
Right.
really. Yeah.
A lot of like dumbbells and like.
Yeah, not a lot of that carrying around because my leg, you know, my hip. So a lot of more on the machines, really, just trying to get base strength back. I mean, I was freaking bones.
How long did that take to get to a point where you felt like you had control of yourself in the gym? I mean, was it years?
No, but because it was amazing. I think when you've developed these muscle memory is amazing. I mean, muscles just started popping out of me once I got going. It was like not even
Muscle memory is a real thing.
Yeah, not even normal. But also you got to remember, us is 90. Well, we won't identify my age too much, but this was back in the day. I was in my 20s, so hormones are good. You know,
Right.
Your body's recovering well. You know, so thank goodness it wasn't after age 30. You know, or there'd been a problem. And that's where I'm such a believer in strength training when it comes to a mode of exercise for people that are aging and what's the most important thing and how you can maximize your time and get the most benefit. Goes to strength training.
What do you think about doing dumbbells and I guess more free weight stuff versus machines as you get older? I had a guy, Bob Tome. I don't know if you know, if you ever heard of him.
Oh, no, great trainer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He changed my mindset on using machines. Like, and his belief is 30 minutes as hard as you can go twice a week, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which I to this day still disagree. I think you need more than twice a week for 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
That's something that. But I did his program minus. I did one extra workout, so I did 3 workouts for 2 months. And did his thing twice a week. He trained me just because I was interested.
Right.
And I was pretty impressed.
Yeah.
I think for people, especially in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and if they're just getting into strength training,
Right.
I think it's a great way to start.
Now you're talking about machines. Like
machines only. So there were no free weights in our program whatsoever. I think it was 8 machines. You know, and his protocol is he picks a weight. Yep. And he makes sure like he's coaching you. He has to be there coaching you. That's the one thing that I think that like if I did his protocol, I would need to know more about how to properly coach, you know, as far as body position.
Right.
And I learned a lot from him. And so if you could make it to 1.5 to 2 minutes, doing slow, like I think 6 up, 6 back, pretty much
super slow. Cool.
Yeah. So 6 and 6, even slower if you could.
Yeah.
Then you would go up next week. If you got between 1 minute and 1 minute and 30 seconds, you stayed at that weight. And if you couldn't make it a full minute, going 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out, then you had to go down the next week.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, I like that. You know, because I'm always thinking about safety for one, especially.
I definitely, it was super safe.
Yeah.
And I went up. I mean, over that 2-month period, I mean, I think I went up 20+% in 2 months on everything.
Oh, that's
if not
awesome.
more.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, you know, doing that slower motion, recruit more muscle fiber types. And,
Now he believes that a bodybuilder could do it. And I don't know if I was fully convinced after 2 months of doing that. If, you know, which my diet could have been more on point just to see if I'd gained some more muscle. But I mean, they were good workouts.
Yeah.
And there's certain things like forearms that I feel like machines can do. Like he had the Buffalo Bills from like the 80s, their forearm machine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's like, it has this thing that you do this, and then it has the thing where you grip and you have to do this and this.
Yeah. Okay,
it was.
Oh, yeah.
I said I liked it one time, and then he started adding it to every workout. And there was like one day I was like, hey, we got to skip this. I think my forearms are like going past the
right. Yeah, no, definitely love the machines, you know, for safety and pushing yourself when you're by yourself all the way up to muscle failure. Right?
That is true.
You can safely rack her and not worry about a spot and worry about lines and control and all that thing. So I think everything's got its place, but that's where, you know, we like to, at Body Structure, we like to give people the knowledge to do it on their own. But at a certain age and keep working on the strength training, definitely on the machines are going to be the safest for them. And, you know, so.
Yeah, I think it's a great place to start people out at. But if you want true strength and muscle growth, hypertrophy, I just love dumbbells and free weight. I mean, and bars.
Oh, I'm going to agree with you 100% there. Yeah.
Plus, maybe there's something about it being just more manly.
Oh yeah. Well, do you get your picture of my dungeon this morning?
Yeah. You sent it over to me.
Nothing but dumbbells.
Is that your house?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I got this 12,000 square foot facility, but I train.
Yeah, I was wondering.
I got bands, all that junk, kind of leftover stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, you've seen the garage. It's just great to be able to walk out. Like, I don't have to be like, if you went to your gym, like how many people are going to walk up and talk to you?
Oh, too many.
Yeah. And how focused are you going to be able to get to really do what you need to do at that point in time?
That's right.
So you need your what is it? What is Superman's thing of solitude? His cave of solitude, or
well, when I was
fortress of solitude. That's it.
Younger and dumber back in the day when I first opened up, I had a good friend, Ben Heck of Heck Glass. He was working out with me, paid training, and we would go in there at 5:15ish, 5ish before the gym, before we opened up at 5:30, not fully. But that's when we kick in Metallica, some really good heavy rock and to the top. And so even 5:30 would roll around and we'd keep it jamming till 6. And eventually I'd run off a couple customers, man. We'd be in there.
Oh man.
And that's when I didn't talk to anybody in the morning,
Nice. It was your time.
It was my time. I was thinking, what the hell? I could just take that 30 minutes and then we'll shut her down. But obviously we had a couple.
So tell me a little bit about, one of the things that I wanted to bring you on here is to talk about body structure. I wanted to talk a little bit about what you've been through in the past to get there, but how did body structure come to be? And I want to, know a little bit about the business model, because I think you have something extremely unique that I don't know any other gym in town that does what you guys do. And I think it is great. As much as another personal trainer, I hate to say, but you really do have a great setup for helping people get to where they need to be.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Through that wreck, as I told you, exercise wasn't involved in PT at the time. And that when I was laying on that bed up in the rehab floor on level 5 and having to pick my leg up, and I'm laying next to 70 and 80-year-olds, trying to recover. It really sunk into me really at that time that, man, there's something here that we need to put exercise and therapy more together, and my love for working with older people. That's where it kind of kicked in, and I added gerontological studies into my graduate assistantship and kind of went down that road. So that kind of formulated the plan, but I still stayed on course with my big sports background and thinking I wanted to be a college strength coach like we all kind of do coming up through the sports system. You want to keep surrounded by athletes.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that was kind of the written goal prior to all this. But really, the enlightenment period was laying on my back in there for weeks, and I'm thinking, geez, and just seeing how happy people were to just walk, and how we take so many things for granted, and including myself. And we are human. I guess human nature brings us back even after we're given back something. We start taking things for granted again too. But that's really where the whole philosophy of bringing therapy and training together started. And I just went through a series of moves, which were all crazy. I won't bore you with all of them, but we talked a little bit about those.
We did, yeah. But So pretty much you have PTs on staff, you have personal trainers on staff, you have nurse practitioner as well.
Yeah, we got massage. No, we don't have nurse practitioner right now. We just have a medical director.
Okay.
John Borders is our medical director right now, but so we keep and the health coaches, of course,
right?
Comprehensive team.
Do you have dietitian as well?
We approach it with the more of the, like you said, we didn't talk about that earlier, but the nutritional philosophy of education.
Okay.
And not writing up meal plans, education on micronutrients.
Right, which I think is really important. That way you can kind of do your own thing if you understand how to break that stuff down.
Yeah, because a majority of people know what's good and bad.
Yes, they do.
So we'll go back to the choices I was talking about earlier, choices in life, choices in our food selections, and all that fun stuff.
Pizza's so good, though.
Yes, it is. But, we've just got got a phenomenal team, and just been tweaking it throughout the years. And yeah,
but you have all that under one roof. So I mean, that means that someone can come in just needing PT, graduate from PT, and now they have. And I guess even while they're in PT, they got that nutrition coaching that can help them, especially because I feel like a lot of people end up in PT due to just being overweight in their body, not being able to handle the weight and it just tearing it up, or like bad posture. So many different things that aren't necessarily even like you get injured on the job. Just the way that you've taken care of your body, it runs down. You need PT to kind of rebuild it back up. But then you can graduate these people from PT, put them right into personal training, help them with their macronutrients. And it's kind of just a one-stop shop, which I think is like unique because I don't know anybody else in town that does it like this.
Yeah. And that going all the way back to my wreck of just having that ability in one place to, do all that, graduate through, to be able to be under safe guidance of a therapist, exercising initially now, and with an exercise physiologist that kind of specializes in what shall we call it, clinical exercise, and helping people that are on that borderline, work through some medical issues and safely do it is what it's all about.
So, I mean, how did all that come to fruition, though? I mean, when you first opened up, did you just start hiring PTs and personal trainers? Like, how did all that just come together?
Yeah, well, again, series of moves, and I'm not sure I have to tell you about my crazy, because I told you my wife, Carl, she was so instrumental in, where I'm at today, and she just followed me everywhere. So she followed me all the way up to Michigan to coach. As I told you, I stayed on that coaching track. So my first job was strength coach, and then I went up to Michigan doing a little head coach deal, and just snow. And she's from Arkansas, and basically she said she was leaving before the next snowfall, and that's when the job opportunity.
Smart woman. Who wants to be in all this heat or all this cold? I hate the cold.
Again, she blew out her ACL on a slope, and just like, okay, we'll go through this summer, and this is it. We're out of here. So again, through different challenges, got me here to Lexington, and then went through I was working as a doing some marketing for a physical therapy place. So I finally got in the lane I wanted to be in.
Okay, so you actually got to see how a physical therapy company was run by helping out with some of the marketing and getting an idea of, I guess those seeds started to get planted there. Yeah,
just getting a feel for it. And at the same time, I opened up, talked to one of the gym owners and opened up evaluation and orientation process for all his customers that joined the gym.
So you implemented something for him.
Yeah, training department here in Lexington. So I was doing both jobs, riding to Frankfort, come here at night, work on the weekends, things like that. And so I had both things going at the same time for almost 3 years. I think I was doing that.
Wow. So when did you finally make that decision? It's like, okay, I need to do my own thing now. I mean, like, when was that? Because I mean, you've had the company almost 30 years, right?
Yeah. We'll be 20.
97.
We'll be 25. Yeah, 97 is when we opened up. So I think we're coming on our 25th anniversary here this November.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah.
So what brought that? I mean, what finally made that tipping point where you're just like, this, I need to do my thing now?
Yeah. Again, more adversity, more challenge, someone pushing me out of my comfort zone, and just, I was at the gym, and I was, of course, doing the PT, and was heading down that road to try this. And, I was like, boom, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to bring this together, and, put a business plan together. And I got lucky. I got a loan from the bank. It was hard to get that money because you got to have money to make money, and
I guess you had to put a business plan together to get that loan.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you've ever done something? Was that difficult?
Yeah. I didn't go to business school.
Right.
Sure,
so did you get help from people, or did you I guess the internet didn't really exist the way it does now?
Internet. No, there was no internet. So not really much help. But I will say the guy at the bank, helped me put an SBA loan together, and that's where.
So you did. So the people at the bank were very helpful in making sure that you did all the documents right, and you wrote up what you needed to write up.
Yeah.
You just weren't going to fail, were you?
No, that was,
I'm going for this.
gosh, yeah, it was, and again, scary. You know, I just, let's see, 97. So, yeah, we have a baby in 95. So, yeah, I had a fresh 2-year-old.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So you're putting it all on the line.
Yeah, I was like, okay, it's time to move.
Now, when you first opened up, was it just personal training then?
No, out of the gate, we did personal training, we combined, physical therapy and personal
So
training
you hired
together.
physical therapists and
Yes.
personal trainers
Yes.
right off the bat?
Right off the bat, and it was the hardest thing ever back then to get a physical therapist to work for an exercise physiologist.
Really?
Somebody doesn't have that background, so.
Do you expect your physical therapist to have a better understanding of kind of what a personal trainer does?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who we want to hire. But now they're all on board. Back in the day, not so much so. And the stigmatism of the gym.
And then was your guys like pay comparable to what a PT would have been making at that time at a just a PT clinic?
You mean now the PT or the trainers paid equally? Is that what you mean?
No. I just meant like when you hired your first PTs, were you guys able to compensate them at a level that they would have made if they had gone to just work for a PT specific clinic?
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So money definitely wasn't an issue. It's just getting them to change their mindset.
Yeah, get to see the vision. And be honest with you, I blew the numbers. I didn't. I underestimated personal training and overestimated physical therapy. I didn't know how hard the rejection of PTs, or not rejection, just hard to get.
Well, and you're thinking you're going to get
board.
insurance money. So you think that the money's going to be easier to get your hands on because it's not as much private pay.
Right.
With personal training, that's coming out of, maybe there's some insurance out there that pay for personal training, but not many.
Yeah. So along with that, and getting the trust from the physicians to say, hey, go to body structure, because what's in it for them? Nothing. That's illegal. That'd be, if I compensated physicians to send to me. But, so we had to deliver when we could finally get them or convince them to send them to our place. And really it started off by going after people with lower extremity, low back, knee, ankle problems where they really need to lose weight, and they understood, hey, these people need exercise too, not just therapy.
100%.
And, get that pressure off their knee and move them along through the system.
Right.
But yeah, the projections were missed by a mile. And
so how'd you get over that adversity?
Well, I got very lucky. To be honest with you, I met a gentleman in the horse industry, and he knew a lot of people, and really helped the referral system go for personal training. That's where I was telling you, I got a few influential clients that really helped my business grow by word of mouth and referral.
As far as getting enough people in the door to catch up with
rent
and
electric, the whole problem.
Right. Everything that you're like, I don't have money for this. I need more clients, or I need another investor.
Yeah. Well, and back then too, it was a lot of just cash money. A lot of these clients come in just and throw the Krispies down. I'm not paying 2.97% interest on their little credit card. It was more cash pay back then.
That makes sense.
Just a lot of people weren't. Now you hardly see cash nowadays.
That's true. Now, did you have a business partner going into the business, or all of this was on you?
Yeah.
So if you failed, you failed.
Yeah.
If you succeeded, though, you succeeded.
That's it. Yeah. So over time, I guess, just with the personal training going and the therapy, finally picking up and establishing some credibility.
So how has the business changed over the last 20 years? Would you say 25 years almost now?
It's huge. It really is. I mean, one, you fight for insurance money now. We didn't have to fight like we do.
Really?
Denials, limited visits. Like, I'm seeing you for your knee, and some insurance require me to pre-auth you just had ACL, and I'm pre-authing every 6 visits.
Yeah, it's going to take longer than that.
I mean, that's like 3 times a week. That's 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, I had a ACL, MCL, meniscus tear, and so I got surgery. Yeah. I'm a veteran, so I went through the VA, but UK did the surgery for the VA or whatever.
Yeah.
And so UK would keep setting up my appointments to go see my surgeon, make sure my knee's good, doing physical therapy, and then I get like a bill for like $2,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, what is this for? Like, it's through the VA. I'm not paying anything. Like, that's part of my being service connected, and that's just part of what I earned when I was once I got out under honorable discharge, right? And so I get a hold of the VA, and they're like, yeah, we didn't authorize that. I mean, they told you to keep coming back, but we didn't give you permission to go back. And I'm like, well, I don't know that.
Yeah.
And so it took me 2 weeks calling. I called 1 million people. No one would give me an answer. Finally, I got a hold of some lady, and I was just like, I was broken down. I think I might have been crying at the time because I was like, I was not in a place to be able to spend that kind of money.
Right.
Like I just didn't have it. Yeah. Plus, I'd been off work for like a month to get to where I could stand up at work, and it was just like a mess. And this poor lady, she's just like, all right, baby, I'm gonna take care of you. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, I'm gonna call you back, and in a couple of days, I'm gonna see what I can do for you. And number one, no one calls you back from the VA. Okay, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But 2 days later, I get a call from her, and she says you should get a note in the mail saying that we've taken care of it, and you're sorry about the whole mix up. Next time though, double check with the VA before. I don't care what they tell you can do.
Yeah,
that's different than what we might allow you to do. But it was a mess.
Yeah.
It really was, and I should have never had to go through all that. I feel like.
Oh yeah, it's still a mess. I mean, because really, when you go anywhere for services in the medical field, you sign a thing. If no one pays, you're liable. If the insurance company decides not to pay. But yeah, over the years, we've just seen it transition to such a fight there. And then with the personal training, and then when we moved, I guess, I think your question was about body structure and transition.
100%. Yeah. Because you weren't always at the location you're at now, right?
Yeah. We were on Richmond Road, on the road front, and now we're behind it, behind Roosters now. It used to be Chop House. But when we made that move, I made that move because we were only offering personal training and physical therapy. So it's kind of like we stereotype that you have to be wealthy or something to get a trainer, where you don't, folks. If you quit eating out so much, plan, and you can afford a trainer a couple times a week,
and have a little bit of discipline.
Yes,
I think that's a lot. That's a lot of things. I have clients that they can only afford to see me once a week.
Yeah.
But I give them a small workout program that they can do outside of me, like some dumbbells or bands, wherever they're at. I make something that they can do 2 or 3 other times on their own. Yeah. As long as they're disciplined to see me once a week, and they do what I have them do outside of seeing me, once I've taught them how to do the activity, then they see results.
Yeah, that's awesome. So accountability. You're giving your accountability system.
Yeah. And I also have clients that see me multiple times a week because they will not do it unless I am there telling them to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got you on that. That is 80% of our business. I think Body Structure's been open for 25 years.
Standing over and be like, come on, let's go.
If they didn't have the appointment, they wouldn't show up.
Exactly. So. Well, and I kind of like that in some ways. Personal training is private pay because people are more committed when money's coming out. Like when they physically see that money coming out of their bank account, they're like, all right, I got to do this. I mean, I've had, I have clients that they don't show up, and I'm like, and most of all my clients are good. They know if they don't show up and they don't cancel in enough time, they let me know the day of, like, I can't make it. Like, I'm going to charge you for it because that's my time that I can't book anything else in that time.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I'll try to reschedule sometimes if they want to reschedule. And then sometimes they're like, hey, we understand. I'm not going to make it till next week. Just take it off my session.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you guys moved. How long? So how big was your space originally?
It was 6, and we went to 12. And,
okay. So wow, 4,000 extra square feet.
I can tell you that move. Something that helped push me in that move was another issue with staffing, and again, another big turning point. A little adversity. It needed to push me out of my comfort zone. It helped me push me out of that comfort zone, and I'd been wanting to help more people in a way and have more space to offer, like what I would call a country club private gym membership that's not real crowded. So we're not doing more than 300 memberships.
Oh, really?
So we are not crowded. The facility is pristine, clean.
So that's the max amount you'll have membership-wise. Any more than that?
No.
Not going to take it.
Yeah, put it on the waiting list.
How often does that happen when you guys hit? Or are you guys usually at 300 most of the time?
It's fluctuated throughout the years, and right now, I mean, we're not even close to that number.
COVID.
Yeah. It's just people are doing their own thing now. So, but that's okay.
A lot of home gyms were built during COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm still waiting for all that gym equipment to be really cheap when people realize they don't want to do it, and I'm just going to buy it up
back in. Yeah. I'm still wondering, all you people out there that borrowed stuff from me, did I get it all back?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
My gym, when we shut down, for 70 some days. People, hey, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that? I mean,
if I'd known you, I would have been borrowing stuff too.
It was pillaged out. It was all kinds of stuff.
Well, you couldn't get anything. And if you could, you were paying $4, $5 a pound.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. But moving back there allowed us to offer that membership platform to help a lot more people, and not, again, keep away from crowds. I've always been about no intimidation, no crowds, nice and clean. So when COVID hit, our cleaning standards didn't change. We were wiping down, doing all that stuff other than the face mask thing.
Right.
But we were able to continue on because of our physician referred program, where we work with people who have medical conditions, hypertension, or let's just call it metabolic disease, or working through cancer recovery, getting their strength back, where exercise is medically necessary. They can use their HSA and flex spending account with us. So that's tax deferred money that you can use towards your services at our place with our medical.
Now, were you? I know you probably had to shut down the gym side of things during COVID. Was PT still allowed to?
PT, yes, but we eventually ended up shutting that down just because we don't do a huge volume of orthopedic replacements.
Okay.
Which are really the medical necessity type stuff.
So you didn't necessarily fall under the guidelines to keep open as a medical facility, in a manner of speaking.
Right. Yeah. But at the same respect, people. Personal training clients that we had on our medical, referral, they were able to keep coming with their training as well.
So what's the kind of how many people do you have that just come in for the membership versus that get the personal training and PT? Do you have quite a few people that just pay like a monthly fee just to come in and use the gym as a gym?
Yeah, that fluctuates somewhere between 130 and 170.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're not up near that 300 number. We've got more clients than we do members.
Okay. Well, that says a lot.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Yeah. So
Which, I mean, you have, every time I was in there, I did my externship with these guys. So when I went through school, I worked with Adam Hicks, I think, and I just learned from him. Yeah. The way that he was really good. He really helped me. He'd allow me to come up with workouts, and he would push me to have critical thinking. He'd be like, all right, so we're seeing this person today. We're working on this. So when you come in, I want you to bring me 4 exercises that we can do with her, that we're going to do with her.
Oh, wow.
And cool. So I'd be like, okay. And he'd look at the list. And I think every once in a while, he'd be like, okay, this is not going to work for her or him. But for the most part, he'd be like, all right, so these, and then he would add his exercises. And then we'd talk about it afterwards, which I think really helped me. And it also helped with communication, because he'd kind of let me not necessarily ever lead the session, but he'd let me, like, if it was my exercise, he'd let me kind of explain what I was doing and how I was doing it and why to the client. And then if he felt, there's a couple of times where he's like, he would kind of jump in and do a better job of explaining things, because he just has a little bit more, quite a bit more experience than me. Yeah. But it really, really helped me. So, and I know that you guys over the years have done a lot of that, where you've worked with local colleges and schools and help them get their certifications, or exercise science, stuff like that, which I think is awesome too. Yeah. How many do you have? Quite a few interns right now at all?
Yeah, we try to limit it to 4 each semester or each term, so we can provide a good experience. And, and do the whole program where they get to be involved in therapy and training and shadow all the areas. So yeah, we're working with Eastern right now. We're working with UK, all the major universities send them over, and we treat it just like an interview. So
I remember coming in, I was like interviewing for a job.
So did you do the test? You should have done the test, right?
Yeah. You and Brandon sat down with me and we talked before because I was like, oh man, I thought I was just going to come over and like
do your thing.
They do my thing. And then they pull me into a room and they're like, all right, we got questions for you. Like, why do you want to be a personal trainer? Why do you want to be here? And then I think Brandon reached out to me a few days later and says, yeah, we're going to set you up with somebody when you're ready to start. And, it was, honestly, it was a really good experience for me.
Oh, good. I appreciate that. I mean, everybody that we accept into the internship program, we feel like it's a person we'd hire. And that's why we want to talk to you. And
I know Brandon's tried to get me a few times.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing there. We want to, we're looking to build the team,
right?
For good quality people.
But you have a great team from everybody that I met. People seem to be happy. People helped each other out. Like, I think you guys have a great setup from my personal experience. How do you get the right people? I mean, because like you said, that's really important. And I know over the years you've probably gotten better at interviewing and catching things with people. I'm sure you've made mistakes, but having the right staff, I think, is extremely important when you've got a facility your size.
Really, it took some reflection and really thinking about who we want to be around and what's important, them core values, and really actually penciling that out of exactly the type of people that we want to surround ourselves by. And it wasn't that hard, just because really it comes down to almost, for me, what's important to me, and being kind and respectful. And, people, obviously, everyone always talks about no matter what they do, they're passionate about it, right? Oh, I'm so passionate. So, I mean, to be passionate about helping people, I just don't think that's deep enough,
right,
when you're looking for the right people. So really digging down deep of who you're really looking for and getting down right to some good adjectives like being kind and respectful, which is the ultimate goal of committed to the well-being of others. So if you're in the field, obviously we think you want to help others, and really almost any field, but depending on your job, you're trying to help people, but are you a kind and respectful person that can work through and listen? And, a lot of people come in there and paying you, and they're not very nice, but you need to be respectful.
Cooler heads must prevail.
Yes. And calm down. But, and then, always improving. And, we talked about that.
What are some of your core values, or your personal core values? Not just in people, but just in the way that you go through life?
Yeah, really. I've always, and I think it's, again, back to my mom, but just putting the other shoe on, how would you want to be treated? Or if I were you, or, I'm sitting here talking to you, what would I be thinking? And it helps me come up with what I want to say, because I'm thinking what you want to say. So just switching the shoe has been a big thing, and just treating people the way you want to be treated. I'd
agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, really one of the key things when trying to find.
I think communication for me has always been big.
Yeah.
Because if you can't communicate properly with people and kind of get on their level, realize whatever their level is to get there, then like there's going to be a disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you see that with some of the younger interns? As far as communication, do you think that it's gotten worse over the years than it was when you were first starting to hire younger people, 10, 15 years ago? Or do you feel like it's just a lot of it's just they're just getting into it, and they're younger, they're just going to have to learn over time?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, they may be just sitting there thinking of what they're going to say or something. They're thinking, I don't know, that could be youth, so I don't want to be judgmental like that.
Right.
But, yeah.
Well, because we don't communicate like we did 10 or 15, 20, 30 years ago, right?
Right.
A lot of communication is through electronic devices.
Drives me nuts.
And I mean, they don't even want to be on the phone. Like just a phone call. Like it's if you're under 30 or 25, it's text, or not even text, like one of these third-party apps, Snapchat or whatever. And it's weird to pick up the phone and call and talk to somebody.
I'm typing an email. My caps got locked somehow. I typing for a while. I'm doing this hen pecking, and I look up and I'm like, oh my God, and I've got time's limited. So I just finish it up, and first thing, as soon as I send it out to staff, I get back, man, what are you mad about? Or you're screaming at us. And I'm like, just sent out an email. No.
Learn that one, huh?
No, it's ridiculous. So texting and emailing, and I've got this whole thing when someone comes on, hey, if you're texting me and it's after 8:30 or pretty much any time, I don't make my phone ring. So I have this whole communication thing that I like to put out.
If it's important enough, pick up and call me.
Yeah. And don't text me over something that we can talk about tomorrow. You can just email me.
Right. That makes sense.
If it's just, if it's not urgent, And if it's really urgent, you need to be calling me anyways. And
so what are some of the mistakes that you feel like you've made and learned from over the years? You know, getting, I mean, there's no way you haven't, because you wouldn't have the success that you have today if you hadn't made some mistakes.
I got a laundry list, you know, so.
Well, pick out a few.
Well, always improving is back to one of the core values we were talking about, you know, always improving and dependable, you know, somebody who sets that high level bar of excellence and, you know, has that, you know, to me, a lot of times that confidence that comes off those kind of people, and they're driven. So I really like that driven person, because I'm driven. So biggest mistake I made early on is my drive and just communicating and just, I mean, banging on some people that are, we'll call amiable or analytical. And here I am being this big expressive guy, you know, in your face, not really in your face, but you know what I mean? Just
I don't know. You're pretty close to my face right now.
Just motivated, you know what I mean? I'm just
like ready to go.
Yeah. Passionate and just driven like that. And that comes off to some people that are more of the amiable, analytical, and usually introvert style. You're going to run them off. And that's part of the core values, going back to what we were talking about. When you get people in there that don't fit that culture, they usually end up running off. And so you either wean them out quick and realize you made a mistake, or they run themselves off real quick and say, wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And so really a big mistake is really just learning to adapt my way I communicate with you to try to more match what you need, or your personality characteristics, so shall we say. So you can look into a lot of the sales methodologies of learning people's personality characteristics in order to communicate better and get to a solution with them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I've, again, run off a lot of good people early on, and that
if you would just
communicate,
understood how to communicate better with them, then it may not have come across the way it came across.
Yeah, I've been misunderstood way too many times.
I can see that. Well, you're extremely passionate. Like what little time I've known you, you got a mindset like, let's go.
Yeah, and not to mention, as you see, it's all over the board. I got to kind of reel me in sometimes. And so, with that being said, getting clarification, you know, after a conversation is something I've worked real hard about doing, and having immediate follow up to people and their issues and what's important to them, and making sure that I follow up.
Do you guys do a lot of feedback?
I'm sorry.
So like when I worked at Apple, one of the biggest things that they were always pushing is giving constructive criticism, as they called it, feedback to each other. Yeah. I mean, so like anybody could give anybody feedback, long as it was in a way that was meant to help and grow, and not in a way to attack. So like, you know, if I did something one way and there was a better way to do it, or they didn't, you know, they, instead of getting on me for doing it wrong, they pull back and like, hey, David, we do it this way. This is why. Like, I just want to give you some feedback on how that might help. And 9 times out of 10, people took it in a very positive way. And it was a great way to help people grow as a team. And that's one thing I really liked about Apple when I worked there is the way that they interacted with each other from any level, from manager all the way down to just a regular new employee.
Yeah, 100%. We're all, again, one of them core values of just always improving and open to constructive criticism. But we could have better system. I bet Apple had a
there is a system.
Lined out system.
Well, and anytime you gave someone feedback, you always did it. You pulled them to the side. So like if I walked over and wanted to give somebody feedback, I never, especially if it was criticism, you know, constructive criticism, I would never do it in front of their peers, right? So I'd pull them off into the hallway or off to the side where it was just the two of us, so that the conversation was just between us. It wasn't for anybody else to hear, or, you know, or if there's sometimes every once in a while you'd have multiple people, you know, giving feedback, like one person giving feedback to 2 people or something like that. But again, it was always in a way that you never felt, in theory, that you never felt attacked, right? Because when you feel attacked, all of a sudden your mind closes. Right. But if you're open-minded and you feel like the person's genuinely trying to help you do a better job, then you're just going to be more likely to adapt and accept that feedback.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Again, our system in place is not as organized. I'm a tweaker, and that's why we've
talked about that many times. So tell us a little bit about what you got coming up, because I think it's pretty cool. You know, you've been doing this for almost 25 years, and You're about to expand, really expand over the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
Well, and it's funny, at the time that I was thinking, how much longer am I going to do this? Let's think about cashing out. How am I going to cash out? Neither at that point, all 3 of my kids weren't involved in the business. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? And so I've had some feelers out. And then along come, I was talking to you earlier about PTs back in the day were hard to find and work for me. And I found this gentleman, Aaron Geldai, in India, and got talking to him. We talked about H-1B, got over to New York, got trapped there. And
what's H-1B?
H-1B, so a foreign way to get over here to the country on a work visa.
Okay.
Yeah, foreign visa.
Okay, I got you.
Allow him into the States. And so he gets over here, gets stuck in New York, and we communicate a couple times throughout his tenure and being a physical therapist. This guy is just, his brain and everything works at this different level. So he gets tired of therapy, or I shouldn't say tired. He's just moving towards his bigger goal, because this guy's had goals all his life and drive. And I mean, he showed up in America with a shirt and flip flops on his back.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't he have his flip flops on his feet?
Exactly. It was cold on the ground. He's in New York, man, right? Yeah. So, but anyways, he opens up a company called Inc. Staffing. You can look them up. They're one of the top 500 in America, privately owned companies. Expanded 40 plus locations in 2 years, 50 million gross revenue plus 800 employees. Just all of a sudden, he decides to call me out of the blue and talk about body structure and what he'd like to do with it, and can I come see you? And he showed up here, and we worked through an arrangement, and it was an unbelievable deal. And first I tried to talk him out of it. I was like, why are you doing this? You could do this without me. And he said, man, body structure, look at it. It's branded nationally. There's not much we need to do there. You've been doing these, all these methods and processes that have proven results over the years. Why would I go through all the work of reinventing all that? Let's just make what you got better. And I'm all about that.
Right.
We need technology.
He's a tweaker too.
Oh,
huh?
yeah. He's laughing at all our printers. What are printers in here for? What's going on here? What's that? All this old electronic devices. But no, he just offered a fabulous deal to expand here in the next 2 years, our next 5 to 40 plus locations across America, and ready to blow it up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, I kept trying to tell him, hey, wow, you don't need me to do this, Aaron. I'd be more willing to help and share.
You're going to be very involved as the locations are open, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is not going to be a thing where he's just buying the brand and he's just going to kind of take your template and run with it. Yeah. So I again, you built body structure. You built something unique. Yeah. So my guess is he wants the brains to be involved as he's doing this, so that because there are going to be mistakes that I guarantee you he will avoid having you hands-on as you guys open this up together. Yeah. And now, you're really going to cash in. Yeah. That residual income is about to be very nice. Oh, yeah. Hopefully over the next 4 to 5 years.
He was just so generous of just saying whatever level you want to be involved in. There's no way. If it says body structure,
you're going to make sure it's, well, I mean, but it's your brand. It's who you are. It's what you built. It's what you believe in. Right. Yeah. So why wouldn't you at least get it to a point to where, everything's running the way it needs to? And I'm guessing over time, you guys will probably hire the right people that will embody what you believe in to kind of oversee these things being opened, and you won't have to be as involved. So, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
55.
So, I mean, this is the time that, you probably want to spend more time with the family and let me guess, golf a little bit more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, you want to have more of those more free time for things that you really enjoy outside the business. Yeah. So this sounds like this could be a great way. I'm really excited for you, actually.
I didn't really understand it, wasn't willing to accept even his gratuitous offer, but he just really kept saying, Kevin, you help me and now I want to help you, and I need you to be more successful than I am. And I can remember way back before, well, it was actually when I was in our first location on Richmond Road, the grumpy old man business owner syndrome, and how you get burned, or you feel you get burned, or however you process things over time, to not let that happen to me.
Right. And I know early on, I mean, I even know a couple of the trainers in town that really did burn you and took advantage of you.
Yeah. Well,
took advantage of your kindness, and it kind of backfired on you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, again, as I said, you got to find the silver lining in everything, just like COVID and what we found there, just like in the wreck and all the different things that happen throughout life, and just keep.
Because unfortunately, once it's happened, there's not a lot you can do about it, except like, all right, I gotta accept this. I gotta move forward. I gotta make sure this doesn't happen. That's a mistake, right? You could almost call that a mistake, even though you were taken advantage of, and that mistake's not happening again.
Right. And this one's kind of like just a full circle. I wasn't looking for it, and it just dropped in my face.
And then you get things like this that
it's like, wow,
someone just is like, a positive aspect from that. So
this guy's amazing too. He's just, his brain works at a different level. He has multiple things going on, and he can just organize it all. And we're going to be a good team, because I'm more of that visionary, jump around, tweak, and keep changing things. I think that's the reason body structure's still here, is it has molded and changed over the years, and just keep reinventing our business and changing out equipment and changing up programming and things like that.
I think it's amazing. So far as your personal physical activity and diet and stuff, what does that look like at 55? For all the guys out there that want to look like you, including myself at 36.
Well, I did find a very good regimen, uptick in my fat intake and protein.
So you think a higher fat and protein and a lower carb is where it's at?
Well,
at least for you,
good nutrient dense carbs. So man, I'm pounding down, some fruits, some various fruits that are lower on the glycemic index, along with a ton of vegetables.
Okay. What kind of fruits do you like?
Oh man, blueberry, blackberry, raspberries, strawberries.
All the berries.
Yeah,
the berries are good. I'm a watermelon junkie though.
Oh yeah, sugar. It's good though. It's good.
It's better than actual sugar.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. But and just not overeating. And I've found over time just really just eat till you're not quite full.
Okay.
And shut her down.
Now, are you a 6 meal a day kind of guy, or are you?
I used to be.
Okay.
But now I've kind of moved in. I think as I've aged, my body has changed a little bit. I mean, I think you have two choices when it comes to nutrition. You can, you start off the day with your blood sugar levels low, right? And so whatever you dump into it, most people talk about their fruit and their cereal or their oatmeal.
I don't know how people start off with sugar. So much sugar. Like breakfast is like sugar. Like 80% of all breakfast is so much sugar.
Yeah, and it just spikes. That's why everybody's tired a couple hours later, and they need more coffee or need a nap or something. But you have that two choices. Slowly rise up your blood sugar levels and early in the morning, get that metabolism going, and then keep it going and eating small, frequent throughout the day and keep it more level. Right? Or you can let it stay low for a little longer period of time and then slowly bring it up and regulate your blood sugars that way, and eating again lower on the glycemic index versus eating a little higher but eating more frequent. And I think everybody's body type's different.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
You talk guy who eats exactly what we just talked about for breakfast, yet his body fat's, within normal range.
Well, there's the guy that I was telling you about, Brennan Kelly, that owns the Ninja Warrior Gym.
Yeah.
I have never seen a guy put so much sugar, like just pack it away the way that he does.
Yeah.
But he works out 2 or 3 times a day. Right. He does 40 miles of running a week. Like, even though that sugar's probably definitely not healthy for him,
right,
his body needs those calories, I think. But he has like an 8-pack. I mean, he looks impeccable.
Oh man.
Like he's like, I think he's actually done some body composition competitions.
Right.
And but I've never seen, like, we went on this 4-day cabin trip down to the Red River Gorge, and we got Mexican food for lunch. Or actually, it was almost dinner time, and we ate quite a bit of Mexican food. Then there was a little shop with some fudge. So he pretty much tries a piece of every, not a piece, but a small little like sample of every type of fudge they have, and then ends up buying like each one comes with like 6 pieces. Oh so he bought 3. So we bought I think 18 pieces of fudge. Okay. So he sits there while we're figuring out what we want and eats a whole box. I mean, eats a whole box of fudge. Okay, and then starts into the next box. And then he I guess while we were getting our fudge disappeared. We're like, where the fuck did this guy go? Right. And so I'm in my car looking for him, and one of the guys like, oh, he's over there buying a milkshake at a shop up the road. So I pull up and he's getting this 32-ounce milkshake and just sucking it down and eating fudge. And I'm just sitting there going like I won't be able to move. No, I'd be throwing up if and this guy, I've never seen anybody that consumes food like he does.
Oh, it's not fair. You get some,
but he was a college football player, an All-American runner. So I think like he says, he's never been out of shape since college. He's just always kept his body in shape, and so he just kind of does what he wants, as long as he gets enough protein into his body a day, and he works out enough every day, which is 2 or 3 workouts a day on average.
Oh man, yeah, and see that's where I'm just about moderation here in my older life. I used to work out a lot more.
Beat up on my body. Yeah, wait till he gets into his 40s.
Yeah, I just find things in moderation. Not only from an eating standpoint, but exercise and making better choices so you don't have to work so hard.
What do your workouts look like?
Typically about 4 to 5 workouts, and I instinctively change body parts throughout the week. Each workout.
So you do a split routine.
Yeah, and it's and it can vary based on how my body's feeling. So I won't say, hey, chest back, shoulders tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Legs the next day. I move along on how my body's feeling, and I modify.
Do you think that took a lot of time to get there to where you can read your body that way?
Yeah, I think so. Some good body awareness and knowing how to put together a routine, because I might all of a sudden in 1 week work back twice, even though I'm in a heavier type strength platform, but I might have a heavy medium day, or hit that back in different angles.
Do you use about the same rep count?
Well, again, I go through a little bit of periodization, so I'll do high rep counts for anywhere to 12 to 16 weeks, and then drop down to a heavier rep count, or lower rep count, which is in that 8 to 12-ish.
And then 8's my favorite. Yeah. 8's the perfect. That gives me a little bit of hypertrophy, and I seem to build strength. I can get a little bit of both. I feel like out of 4 8s.
Yeah, I personally don't like numbers. I like ranges.
Okay.
Because I think it makes your mind preset.
What do you mean by ranges?
8 to 12 or 8 to 10. So, because I think once you pull back and you say, I'm going to get 8, boom, your mind's set on 8. When you add 15 in there, so actually that weight's light.
I see what you're saying. So you like to go to more of a muscle failure. Like
somewhere in that range.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And whether it's 3 or 4 sets. And then I always put a finisher on. If I'm working an area, I'm doing a drop set or a
really, that's a good idea.
Pre-exhaustion set, something that just annihilates that body part at the end.
I love. Do you ever just do for dumbbells for curls? I just do. It's called down the rack.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You pick up the heaviest thing you can pick up, and it's all. It doesn't matter about pulling it up, just getting it up and then fighting against it as many times you can.
There you go.
Because say you start at 50, by the time you're down to 10, it feels like it's 50.
50, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
Your arms are exhausted.
The classical drop set is what I call that.
Yeah.
Just drop till you drop.
Yeah. No, I think those are great. Yeah. We used to do that with bench too. We put on a bunch of weight and you just keep going, but we put the weight on backwards. So you take off the heavier weights and the lighter ones, and you get down to 45, and you'd be like able to do 10 or 5, and you're like, "How is this possible?" Because your chest is just like, "I'm done."
Well, to change you up on your bicep drop set, you should try where you get lined up with your hands facing the mirror, right, and then keep them elbows in and curl them all the way up, while keeping them back and twist them all the way so you get that full supination.
Oh my God, I've never done that.
I know, I made that one.
So you just straight out.
Well, you're down to your side though. So but you're doing supinate, pronate all the way up.
So it's a twist halfway up.
All the way up.
So you want to come all the way up to the shoulder if you can.
Wrist extended and pinky higher. So bring your pinky higher now. Turn your pinky up this way. No, this
Oh,
way.
this way.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to
feel that?
get you want to get
that?
that you want to
Well,
really
did you-
engage the forearm too.
Well,
Then
and you should have felt your short head
Oh, yeah.
bicep
Yeah, I
crank
do.
up when you do that.
that's I'm gonna try that.
So, but it just so it kind of really works the supination, pronation, your biceps brachii, and your short head and long head. It pretty much.
Now, are you
smokes
mostly
over.
maintaining, or do you still feel like you're growing at this age?
Oh no, I'm just trying to survive, bud.
Because there's a point where, like, unless you just work out like crazy, or you're taking, steroids,
Yeah.
like at your age, it's got to be harder to put on muscle.
You can look back pictures. I mean, I'm kind of right where I'm at size wise. I've always ranged between 175 and been as chunky as 205 when I was playing football, but 195.
Where you at now?
I'm about 185.
Okay, so you're on the higher end of your.
Yeah, but I'm smoothing out about probably a little higher than 10% body fat, so it's a little higher.
You got to do something about that.
Yeah, no.
At 55,
Yeah,
come on now.
And I do believe, part of staying, I think, well, I don't know. It's worked for me, and that's taken my body down below 10 every year, really. And then just flattening back out.
What do you do to do that?
Life.
Like, do you have like a system that you found that works for your body to drop it? Say you get to 12 or 13%.
Yeah, getting under into the single digits has always been my goal, and at least once a year, and even sometimes as low as 5 and 6%.
And what do you do to get there?
But you definitely have to do similar to a bodybuilder eating plan. Do a carb high low, trick your body.
Really?
Low ketosis stuff and all that. Tricking your body into that longer ketosis state and burning everything out.
And then the thing that
Maybe not
sucks is
so
that you
healthy for you, so I don't really advocate. I just do it once a year. And I
Right.
think
Well,
getting off not letting old fat hang around a long time is my point. So having basically new fat.
So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So so when you do have a I don't know. I'm guessing you probably don't stick to like a cheat meal kind of system. When you want some food, you get it.
I eat pretty good all week, but
Yeah, what's your go-to though? Like, what is your if you can have whatever you want?
Oh wow!
What's your favorite sugary item? And then what is your favorite? Like, is it pizza, Chinese? Like, what's your?
Okay, so
I want to hear this.
So the first thing comes to my head, Choco Taco. But they've taken them off the shelf. It's gone. Klondike has discontinued them this year.
Oh, really?
It's over.
I know what you're talking. I haven't had one of those in a long time.
Yeah.
So that was like your favorite sugary thing to go for.
That's a good.
See, donuts for me. You put a donut in front of me. You put it. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care if if I'm training to do a body composition. You put a donut in front of me, I'm going to lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then what food wise? What's your favorite thing that?
Oh God. That's bad or
Okay. Tell me what's your favorite thing to eat that's healthy.
Just constantly, I eat so many eggs in so many different ways and batch them up every week.
See, I burn myself out on eggs.
Dude, no, I'm throwing. This week it could be roast beef in them with peppercorns, with whatever, a bunch of picante sauce.
So eggs are a big one for you.
In many different ways. I make them different. Whatever's in the cabinet.
And then what unhealthy thing do you crave the most?
Jeez, pizza was all right, but not really. And Chinese food, yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. So bad food I crave. Good old fashioned fried chicken.
But that's not like the worst thing you could be eating. Like a slice of pizza would be worse than that, because at least you're getting it's a high protein item, even though it's deep fried.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with fried chicken's good.
Some kind of deep fried food, I guess,
Yeah.
but it's really not a go-to. So I'm weird. I'm having a hard time.
You're pretty content with what you consume.
Yeah.
And you enjoy the food.
Over the years, I've just found what I love to eat and enjoy.
I just do.
And so without nuts, eggs, and meat and peppers, mushrooms.
I do a lot of tacos.
Yeah.
So I do a low calorie tortilla, high protein, cheese, and then I just do ground chicken or beef, sometimes turkey, but I'm sick of turkey. And I just put like that like taco powder on it, and cook it up.
Yep.
Put that on top of the cheese on the tortilla, sometimes some vegetables, and I get that pre-made bacon. I just cook it to where it's pretty much burnt, so it will crumble up into the taco. A little tiny bit of ranch. It's like 50, 60 grams of protein and 400 to 700 calories, depending on if it's beef or chicken.
There you go.
and I'll just eat that all day long. And I'll eat through a pound and a half of meat a day, especially during the week. The weekend's harder because I get out of my routine. Right. During the week, I have a routine that I stick with. I pretty much work out at the same time every week. Yep. I eat pretty much the same time.
And you know what you're eating, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that, to me, is the big difference, is that preparation and knowing. So,
and it's quick. And you can cook up a pound of meat in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's
all about prep cooking.
So, well, and I don't like food to be old. So I like literally cook almost every day. I just throw a pound in every day, cook it up, takes me 10 minutes, but then it's fresh. Oh, it's so good. And then I'll eat through it pretty much the whole day or into the next day and then cook it again the next day.
I can eat week-old food.
I mean, I can, but I prefer not to.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm Mr. Leftover.
That was my problem with like when I would get meal prep. Like I've tried, Jack Nutrition here in town.
Yeah.
So we've had them on a couple times, and
cool.
And I used to get them every week. The problem is I'd get to Friday through Sunday, and I would just be like, oh man, this food's like 4 or 5 days old. It just doesn't taste as good as it did on day one.
Yeah.
And weekends are always a struggle for me because people want to go out, people want to do things, So it's a lot easier to just eat unhealthy on the weekends in general. But it would be hard for me to eat all their food if I ordered 2 meals a day for the week because I would just would not want to eat it because it would be just like 7 days old, 6 days old.
Oh man, no, I'm all about that.
Because meat gets a little tougher, on the back end. But again, at the end of the day, you got to get your protein in. You need to get your macros.
When I think clients that I'm been most successful with over the years are people that aren't. They're more creatures of habit.
Oh, habit's the best way.
Well, and you could eat this, and don't need all that variation of nutrition.
It makes it easier, so that's why I do the tacos. I love ranch. Yeah. So like the ranch, I would just put it on top of the cheese because the ranch and cheese tastes amazing to me with the meat, and I can eat 8 to 10 ounces of chicken really quickly with that cheese and ranch and a little bit of bacon in there for the crunch, and that's been probably one of my most successful. I've been doing this for over a month, 2 months now. But one of my most successful meal plans that I've been able to not vary from and be sick of it. I'm like, okay, I can do this every single day, and I'll just change the type of meat that goes into it.
How are you on tuna?
Honestly, it's been a while. I was because I did a lot of tuna there for a while. And because I've tried all these different, I don't want to call them diets really. I've tried to eat healthy multiple times in different ways. And that's what I'll do is I'll find something like eggs. I went through an egg period, and I mean, I was eating like eggs every meal. I was getting, I was like you, I was cooking them with everything. I'd get meatballs, cut up the meatballs, put them in the eggs, cheese, like different, and I just kind of got burnt out because I was eating like 10 eggs a day. But it's been a long time since I've done tuna. So
I got a recipe for you.
Do you?
You probably haven't used it.
Okay.
Louisiana hot sauce.
See, that's my problem. I can't do hot sauces because my stomach is like I have IBS.
The other ingredient was mustard instead of mayonnaise.
I love mustard.
Well, just try it with mustard instead of mayonnaise.
Just mix those two together. That's it.
Or just mustard, since you can't do the Louisiana hot sauce. Maybe a little picante sauce, medium picante sauce with some mustard.
And you just kind of turn that into like something you can put on a piece of bread or just eat straight up.
Yeah, I usually eat it straight up.
Yeah, but tuna is really high in and I'll do salmon a couple times a week. So I get this they're like frozen at Kroger, and I think they've got some kind of seasoning. They're like a garlic seasoning or something on it. It's a little more breaded than you'd probably want, but it's not that bad. It's still pretty low carb. And each slab there comes with like 2 salmon slabs in there, and I think they're like 30 grams of protein. And I grill that because and when it comes to fish, I find grilling tastes better than baking. Yeah. So do you grill much?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's the key with anyone you're working with or someone wanting to start eating a healthier lifestyle, having a healthier eating plan is find the things you like. Don't be gagging down something you don't like. That's not.
Yeah, I've learned that lesson because you can do it.
Yeah.
But then life's a little bit more miserable.
Yeah.
Because you're constantly craving what you can't have. But if you can find that balance of something that you like for the most part, then you're not like, I need to go get pizza, or I want Chinese, or I want this or that. Because I feel pretty. Once I eat my taco or 2 tacos, that was tasty for me. I enjoyed it, and I got enough protein in that meal.
Yeah. Well, think about this. This is a good one for you. COVID.
Yeah.
loss of taste
So
and smell.
So I'd love to invent. I would love to invent a pill that you could take that would take your taste away.
That's what I'm saying. Some of these people right now, if you haven't, without your taste buds or sense of smell, and you're still eating poorly, then you need some psychological work.
Seriously.
Here. It's all, you know what I mean?
Because if you can't taste the things, because I mean that's why we like unhealthy things or things that aren't good for us, because we love the taste.
Perfect time to eat tuna right out of the can. If you can't taste it, anyway.
I think if they made a pill that would take your taste away for 24 hours or 48 hours or something, people would buy that, and then you would see a lot healthier people. Because if you can't taste it, then might as well just put good stuff in your body.
Right.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are weird about texture, though.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't like the texture of that. I'm like, well, who cares?
Outside of hummus, I don't understand that.
I love hummus.
I don't know the sand. And I'm not a texture guy. I don't know.
But that's your one thing.
One thing, man. That and liver.
Liver. I couldn't tell you the last time I did liver. You keep up with this Liver King guy? You heard of him?
No, I don't like liver. Ugh.
So there's a guy named Liver King on Instagram. He's made himself. I mean, you should look him up. He's made himself. Hey, can you pull up Instagram and pull up Liver King?
Liver King. Oh my God.
Look at this guy. So he's all about this ancestral, like they put their phones in like a bag when they're in the house, and like they sleep on he made his own bed. I don't think it's a mattress. They sleep on like boards, and it's kind of crazy. Everyone thinks this guy's on steroids. Yeah. He refuses to admit that he's on steroids.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Look at this guy.
Okay.
But he believes.
Hold on. Let's go back up to those abs real quick, man. Or let's see them abs.
Yeah. Get the Vegas one.
No. Yeah. Well, okay, maybe not. So ab muscles aren't really square without some kind of cosmetic action going on. But okay.
See, what do we got? Got some more pictures or videos here. But his big thing is liver, like he's eating raw eggs right there. Pull up the raw egg one. That one was I watched that the other day, and he's just sitting there just popping in raw eggs like they're nothing.
Oh, is the shell too?
Yeah, everything. The shell actually has. I looked it up. The shell actually has some positive, long as they're like cleaned and stuff.
Okay, so. No, actually, he's got them curved. Those could be the real deal.
They could?
Yeah,
okay.
I was going to say, the square thing is where they're where they're perfectly square.
That has a lot to do with like steroids, you think?
Well, they're cosmetics on steroids, but anyways, wow.
But so his whole thing's liver, organs. He eats a lot of animal organs because of supposedly animal. That's how our ancestors. He says his whole thing about our ancestors and how they were able to survive.
Right.
And it was all about. And it's all about eating animal organs because there's all these good nutrients and vitamins and stuff like that. Yeah. But like you said, I don't know if I could get behind it. Like, let's put it this way. If I had him on my podcast, he'd be bringing liver in because he does this on every podcast. Okay. And he would be sitting there making me try all this stuff. I don't know if I could do it. But I do believe that it probably is very beneficial.
Yeah.
To eat that kind of stuff, but that takes a certain type of person. But yeah, they got this. He's got this whole thing.
He's got a zillion likers too when he does.
Oh, he's huge. He's blown up. He's been on. I don't think he's been on Joe Rogan yet, but he's been on a lot of really well known podcasts. What are they going to? They're probably about to eat some animal organs here, making it look like all fancy. But he's made himself massively. Yeah, so they're going to do bone marrow,
they're
liver,
gonna pass it around.
Yeah. So supposedly like animal bone marrow is really good for you.
Cheers.
So
cheers. Oh God.
But it's because everything's so unique with him.
Right.
But yeah, anyways, but you made me, when you said you didn't like liver, I'm like, but supposedly it's supposed to be really healthy and it can help build muscle and stuff like that because of all the nutrients in these animal organs. But if you ever want to try it out and let me know, because I don't know if it's for me.
I think I'll look around, find some other things. I'm sure.
Anyways, well, Kevin, it has been a blast having you on. Any last minute advice or anything you want us to know, anything you want to talk about your business, put it out there. I
think, overall, just having that positive attitude and moving forward, have some goals written down.
Goals are important. I really agree with that. When you have a goal, I feel like half the first couple months of this year, I was working out 4 or 5 times a week, but I didn't really have a goal, and I just felt off.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what I was going for. I just knew I needed to be in the gym,
Yep.
but I was burnt out from my previous workout program. I didn't feel like building another one yet. I don't know what it was. I was in a rut. I mean, I still was working out, but I just wasn't getting anything out of it like I am right now, where I have a goal. I have,
Nice.
a program that I told you me and Canny put together.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Goals are extremely
Yeah,
important.
and just not the poor me when something
Should never
happens.
be poor me.
Yeah. Oh, poor me, get over it, move forward, be positive, like COVID. So many good things came from COVID,
Yeah.
Even with my business and really changing our mission statement from, you're going to laugh, helping individuals. That's my new one. I've got to get this right. To implement safe, individualized programs, emphasizing healthy lifestyle modifications for long-term results.
I agree with that 100%.
But it's a crazy mission statement. That is so long. And that was what I came up with back in 97. And that is our steps, our methods, our proven methods, proven results. And that is, how we've depicted it on our wall over COVID. It really gave me time to reflect and then just turn the mission statement straight into just helping individuals live a healthier life, and staying in our little sweet lane, of course, of medical conditions or beginning exercisers, teaching them the fundamental movements that could work both ends of the spectrum, old and new or injured. But staying in that lane, and setting those goals.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's great.
Yeah. So it's just so many people had so many, and COVID did wreck the world, right? I mean, so many bad things, right?
Yeah. It was a hard time.
Yeah.
But it forced me, it put me in an uncomfortable, took me out of my comfort zone.
Excellent.
And I wouldn't be a personal trainer if it hadn't been for COVID.
There you go.
Like I literally, because I wouldn't have been looking, I would have kept doing my photo and video job and probably worked at Apple for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But COVID allowed me to go back to school, get a certification in something that I'm really passionate about, that I actually care about, that I get to help people, like you said. I mean, I get to communicate, I get to be kind, I get to do all these things that as a photographer, none of that stuff was as important. I really get to genuinely help people live a better life and feel better. And there's something gratifying about that.
Oh man, I can't think of anything more.
So, so if it hadn't been for COVID, I wouldn't have made that. I wouldn't have made that transition in life. I wouldn't have pivoted because I was doing okay financially, but then things hit and I'm like, I got to pay rent.
Yeah.
Like a lot of other people, I could have totally just not paid rent for multiple months and probably once my lease was up, they would have kept their deposit, but I would have saved myself thousands of dollars. But that's not the type of person I am. I made an agreement. So that meant I had to figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah.
And it was the first time ever in my life where I had so much free time to focus on. I was working out 6, sometimes seven times a week. I wasn't taking a day off because I had nothing better to do some days. Especially when Apple shut down, everything was shut down. Me and 4 friends. One of our buddies had I think 400 or 500 square foot basement garage.
Yeah.
And all of us brought all the equipment that we had at our houses into his garage, which was 2 full plate sets, a squat rack, a bench, some dumbbells, treadmill, a handful of other things, pull-up bar, stuff like that. Yeah. And that's literally every day, 8:00 p.m. We got together and all 4 of us worked out every night. Now, 2 of them did their program and me and my buddy did our program. And I had never been that committed. Like I've always been committed, but not like that.
Right.
Because I had nothing better to do.
Well, and think about all the time people had during this period, and you had a choice. Do you want to use that time, or do you want to burn it?
And a lot of people did, but a lot of people got themselves in worse shape.
Yeah. Or just improving yourself, whatever job you have. Did you take time to do continuing ed? Did you establish some productive
Or did you sit around and watch TV all day?
Yeah. Yes. So that was a big period of time of change, I think, and a lot of good has come out of it. And,
I agree.
Yeah. And
a lot of bad came out of it too. I think it went both ways.
Yeah.
It's still going to be interesting to see how the world heals from it over the next probably 5 to 10 years.
Well, I know our business, when it comes to virtual, that really opened that door. I mean, look at all the fitness people doing the video, online stuff now. And are
you guys doing a lot of virtual stuff?
Well, not a lot, no. But the clients that do move off that have been using us for decades, they're now in North Carolina or Florida, and they're still using their trainer online.
Okay, what do you guys use? Zoom, or how do you guys do?
Yeah, we've got a platform through Easy Facility, the software we use for our trainers.
Okay, does it allow them to build programs and stuff? stuff for your?
No, not necessarily. Just a good pathway.
So you should look at. You ever heard of a program called Trainerize?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I use that. So I have a handful of clients that are out of state.
Yeah.
They just pay me a monthly fee, and I build their programs in Trainerize. And then I went through right when I got out of school, and pretty much most of the major bar and dumbbell movements, I went through and had someone videotape me doing them, showing like proper form. And then Trainerize has their own videos built in as well. I just rather my clients look at me instead of some person they don't know.
Yeah.
And then I build their program, and then if they're like, oh, how do I do, a skull crusher properly? Well, there's a video of me doing a skull crusher.
There you go.
And that's been super beneficial because, I have a couple clients like that, but they're paying, $120 a month and it's a 12-week program. So they pay $360 up front.
Right.
And then I just sit there, depending on what they want, it doesn't take me more than 2 or 3 hours to build a 12-week program for somebody in there. And then other than them reaching out to me and doing, I offer every other week a 1-hour Zoom call if they want to go over form or anything like that with me. And half the time they don't, they'll just keep touching base with them, make sure their diet's good. I do a macro build up for every one of my clients gets a food journal and a macro. Nice. I just use a TDE calculator and kind of base everything off of that. And then we just make adjustments as needed.
Yeah. We mostly just use it for one-on-one training still. Just the clients get online 2 or 3 times a week for the training session, videos on, and they're actually instructing them and watching them and working them out.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So it's like a personal training session.
But I mean, that allows you guys to have income coming from a different angle that may not have been as prevalent in the past.
Yeah, that's it.
So, well, Kevin, thanks again for coming on and hanging out with me, man. This has been a blast.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I've enjoyed it.
Maybe we'll have to have you on again down the line. Bring Brandon along as well.
There we go. There we go. We can go down Book Alley, talk about some books.
We didn't even get a chance to talk about this traction book that I bought, and I cannot find the damn time to read it. I'll get there.
But you have the best book in the industry. That sums them all up.
And I have a goal to finish it and read it. So I'll just have to figure out a way to change my schedule, my routine up enough to where I have that time to really focus on the book.
Well, you can go to the front chapter and just look at the what chapters have to offer and think where's your trouble right now,
and then try to get those chapters done,
because you can almost go individually in there based on what you're
but I think books like this, it's good to get a broad spectrum, like read through the book, get an idea, and then go back. I mean, I'm guessing you've reread this book multiple times.
Too many times.
So anyways, well guys, as always, we'll catch you next time.